Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So in today's What's for Dinner video, I've got some super easy weeknight meal recipes for you. These are just perfect for those really busy weeknights or for times where you really just don't feel like cooking. I think all of us have those times, so these would be perfect for that too. Now this video is also really special because it's in collab with my friend Megan over at Megan's Kitchen. She's going to also be doing a What's for Dinner, so make sure you check her out. I know she's going to have some delicious, yummy things for you. She does What's for Dinners, grocery hauls, all that kind of stuff, so I think you'll really enjoy her. Make sure you head over to her channel after you watch my video. Go show her some love and let her know that I sent you. I'll have all the information linked in the description box below. And if you're coming over from Megan's channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. I do all kinds of recipe videos, What's for Dinner. It's really all about the food here. So if that sounds good to you, I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family and turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new videos. But go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're excited to get into these recipes. But let's go ahead and get into the video. So we're going to get started on our Thai basil vegetable dumplings with some rice and steamed broccoli. So y'all, this is such an easy meal. This rice is a really great method to make rice. It turns out perfect every time we've made it. But we're just going to, well, my daughter likes to actually rinse the rice. She's actually the one cooking here. But so she rinsed the rice and placed the rice in the pot as well as some water. You're going to bring that to a simmer. And once it does start to simmer, you're going to put a lid on the top. We just use foil. Then you're going to turn it down to low or medium low, depending on kind of the heat of your stove, and let it cook for 12 minutes. And then take it off the heat and let it sit for just a few minutes. So now these are the dumplings that I got. They are so very good. We are completely addicted to these. I like to watch the sales at Publix. They run them buy one, get one free a lot. And that makes it really affordable to buy a couple of packages and have that for dinner. I think it's like $5 something for both packages. So I feel like that's a pretty good deal. And these are just get, you know, sauteed on each side in a little bit of oil until they're nice and toasty on both sides. And there are a couple other ways you can make them too. I think like you can steam them and things like that, but we like to make them all nice and crispy. And this is perfect if you're kind of in the mood for Asian food, but you just want something at home, much more economical than going out to, get takeout and things like that too. So here they are done. And then I also just steamed some broccoli to have along with this. I do end up a lot of times putting a little bit of sesame oil on my rice too. That gives that a little more flavor. But these are so good. I cannot recommend this meal enough. It's one of my favorite meals right now. So it's so good. But if you haven't tried those dumplings, I highly recommend them. And this was what I chose for my birthday dinner and dessert. My kids actually cooked this also. That was really sweet of them. I requested they make me the garlic biscuits and that Dolly Parton Stampede soup. So I'll have that video linked below in case you want those recipes. And for dessert, I really wanted something that kind of had like a cheesecake kind of flavor to it, but not something that's going to take that long. And so we actually decided to make a dessert I've shared before, and I'll link that below. It's kind of like a pineapple no-bake cheesecake. It just has a graham cracker crust and then, the cream cheese kind of layer with the cream cheese and powdered sugar and then topped with crushed pineapple. And y'all, this was so very good. And it was so very sweet for my kids to cook for me. And I really appreciate it. It was a fun day. So now we're going to get into our barbecue chicken sliders. And I actually just made a smaller batch of these because not everybody was eating this that night. Those nights sometimes where everybody's eating a little something different, trying to get different things cleaned out of the fridge and everything. But these sounded really good, so I thought I'd try them out. So I've got 6 slider buns there, the Hawaiian rolls. I went ahead and put mayonnaise on the bottom. And then I'm also going to slice a little bit of onion. I wish I'd had red onion. I think that goes probably better with it, but it's always good to use what you have on hand too. So I'm just slicing a little bit of that up. And then I've got some chicken that I actually had in the freezer that I'm going to add some barbecue sauce to. So I went ahead and kind of heated it up in a saucepan. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I've got a recipe I kind of went by, but I kind of also did my own thing. So I will link the original recipe in the description box as well as what I did. But I'm just letting that, kind of heat up a little with that chicken. And then we're going to go ahead and layer that on our slider buns. Now, this is something where you could totally change all this and make, use different things and make different flavors. There's all kinds of ways you could do this. But I decided to go ahead and top mine with shredded cheddar cheese because I just had the package open that I need to use up. And then also some pickles and the onion. If you wanted to make coleslaw to either serve with this or put on top of these, like you wouldn't want to bake it, but like if you want to try to, get it on top after you baked it, that would be really good too, because I think coleslaw just naturally goes with barbecue, obviously. But I did not have any on hand or anything to make it with, so I did this, but I think that would be really good to add that to. And obviously, as much onion as you want or as little as you want, or leave it off. Lots of different things could be done here. You could use different cheese. Now, I want to share with y'all a little bit about these pickles. I've told you before that I watch my sodium, and I found this brand of pickles on Walmart.com, and they have the lowest sodium I've ever seen pickles have. I think it's like maybe 3% of your sodium or something in a serving, and you get like 8. And I love pickles, but I don't really eat them much because I have to watch my salt. So I was tickled to death. So if you also have to watch your sodium, I recommend those pickles. They are very good. They do not taste low sodium. And I was really excited to be able to find those so that I could eat pickles more often. Now, I did brush the top with a little bit more mayonnaise because I thought that would kind of help it from getting soggy, from the pickle and everything. And then we're going to mix up a little bit of melted butter with a little bit of parsley flakes. And I just spoon that on top. That works fine. Now, the recipe I went by did not say to cover these, but I think to get the cheese to melt better, I would probably cover them for a few minutes and then uncover them and finish baking them. And I think I ended up baking these for like 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees, but keep an eye on them because, obviously the tops can burn. So just kind of check them maybe at 10 minutes and kind of see how they're looking and go from there. But y'all, these were really, really good. I was just in the mood to have them with chips, so I didn't have like a side I made with them or anything like that. But any of your typical like barbecue sides would go really great with these. We really enjoyed these. There were only 3 of us that ate this specific thing this night. But man, they were really good. Like, I will definitely make these again sometime because I really liked the flavor. And I think it'd be, of course, obviously nice to change up even the type of barbecue sauce you use. You could create a kind of different sandwich that way too. So, but I just love using the sliders for little sandwiches like this. They're so tasty, and I love how that buttery, topping kind of adds to it too. So I also think these would be great as an appetizer, especially like game type food and stuff like that. So good for that too. Next, we have our lazy lasagna. So this is very similar to how my mom makes her lasagna, only there's shortcuts here to make this a lazy lasagna. So I'm just stirring 1 egg into my cottage cheese. That's a 16-ounce container of cottage cheese. And then I've cooked a 16-ounce container of pasta. I used bow tie here. I'm adding some marinara sauce in here. And this is like a low sodium. I used a couple combination of brands. I used a 1/2 cup of the pasta water along with my cottage cheese mixture. We're going to also add in here some Parmesan cheese and some mozzarella cheese, and we're going to get this all stirred together. So when I make my mom's lasagna, I actually make a homemade sauce. I don't use jarred sauce. But other than that, and of course using lasagna noodles, this is pretty much her lasagna. So we're going to add in some cooked ground beef. Now, I just used one of my packs out of the freezer that I've already frozen. Y'all know if you've been here a while that I prep all my ground beef ahead and keep it frozen in the freezer. But we're going to put this in a 9x13 baking dish. And then we're going to top it with some additional mozzarella and Parmesan cheese and bake this at 350 degrees for 1 hour. And y'all, this was so good like this and so much easier than making lasagna. Now, I will say, obviously, what kind of, marinara, spaghetti sauce, whatever you choose to use, obviously that's going to impact flavor here. I didn't add additional seasonings to this because the sauce I used was well seasoned. But, that might be a situation where you might want to add garlic to it. You might want to add, onion powder, whatever you like to do. So just, be mindful of whatever sauce you use and what flavorings you might like here. But look, that even looks like lasagna. Like, it was so good. My kids loved it. So it was definitely a hit for us. I definitely recommend it. So very easy, much easier than lasagna, and it was absolutely delicious. My daughter, who doesn't really care for lasagna, even liked it. She said she liked it better than lasagna. So it was so good. Next up, we have Brazilian rice and beans with sausage. Now, this is not only super easy, but it's also really economical. I'm just cutting up some onion here. The recipe actually called for green onion. I didn't have any on hand, but I used just regular onion. And I think that's what I would prefer after trying this. I think I would just rather have the regular onion. I've got some chicken sausage here. This is the Simple Truth brand from Kroger. It is so good. It's the spinach and Gruyere flavor. It's really, really good. I went ahead and cut up all 4 lengths, but I only used probably about 1.5 to 1 3/4 lengths because we're not just huge on having just tons of the sausage at one time. But it was so good in this. I wish I would have gotten a little more color on the sausage, so next time I may try to do that, like fry the sausage before I put the onions in there. I went by the directions, but it did make it hard to get like a nice sear on the sausage, and I do like that on there. I think it just adds a lot of flavor. So you may want to make that change too. Maybe sear off your chicken sausage or whatever sausage you use if you want that sear on there before you do that. But we've just got some oil in here and our onions and our sausage. We're just going to cook that down just a little bit until the onions get softened. And then we're going to add in our garlic and cook that for just a minute. And it really is as simple as this, y'all. This is such an easy recipe. I can't even explain how easy it is. We're adding a cup of rice, some chicken broth, and then a can of pinto beans that have been drained and rinsed. Now the recipe just says salt and pepper to taste and bay leaves, but I went ahead and added some onion powder and garlic powder. So I did pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and a bay leaf. That's what I put in here. And I think this is going to really largely depend on too the flavors on what kind of sausage you use, how seasoned that is. So be mindful of that. And you could always make this your own and put whatever seasons in it you'd like. But I did kind of want to try it mostly by the recipe so that I could kind of see what it tasted like. Now we're going to go ahead and bring this up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat to low and cover it and simmer it for about 20 to 25 minutes. For me, it took 20 minutes. Just check and make sure the rice is, cooked well for you, and then fish that bay leaf out and then just fluff it up, and then you're ready to serve it. Now let me know down in the comments below what your favorite kind of go-to easy weeknight meal, budget meal, all that is. I'd love to see what all y'all cook too, but this was delicious. We really enjoyed it. I did add some chopped tomatoes on the top. So good. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. Don't forget to check out Megan's channel. I'll have it linked below. I know she's got something delicious for you. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd subscribe and join my YouTube family. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.